Thank you, Bill. Before I begin,
Yeah, the mic.
before I begin, I'd like to take a moment of silence to think about the victims of the shooting and their in D.C. and their family. I'm excited to be here today and join Bill on his attempt to attain the governorship. I think there is great hope in joining forces with Bill Brady. I believe we can bring about the necessary change that is needed in Illinois. Illinois is in a state of disrepair. We all know it. We're 49th in in unemployment here, and it's been cited that every 10 minutes somebody packs up and moves away out of our state. Many people have lost hope. Some are moving away, but others are just giving up. They're downsizing their hopes and dreams and getting into the belief of what we have is this mediocrity, this new normal. A new normal of mediocre economic performance, of failing schools, of violence-prone streets, of an unresponsive state government whose members only seem to be out for themselves. I grew up loving Illinois. We moved here when I was about 8 years old from a suburb of Detroit. Actually, my dad used to say we escaped from Detroit, but we moved here and when I was 8. I remember the 4th grade. I remember Mrs. Schaefer teaching us Illinois history. I remember her telling us wonderful stories about the state and about the leaders who lived and worked here, about hope and dreams for the future. I wonder what our children learn when they are learning right now about Illinois. Right now they're learning that our state is considered one of the most corrupt states in our nation. Right now they look at the news at night and they see our current leadership. They see, although we have the governor's mansion and the supermajority in both legislative chambers, they still cannot come up with a plan to reform the pension system in Illinois. They cannot address the $100 billion in unfunded pension liability. Instead of leading in this time of crisis, our current leadership resorts to gimmicks like cutting lawmakers' pay and suing one another in court. Our children are learning that our state cannot even pay its daily bills. They are billions of dollars behind in paying the daily bills. They hear other governor candidates state that they have the answer to Illinois' problems. In reality, no one has all the answers to today's problems, no one person. We do not need to re-elect another new set of dictators in Springfield. We need to fundamentally change the system and give the power back to the people of Illinois. That is what the Brady Rodriguez ticket is going to be. Bill has demonstrated himself as a principled leader. We share the same vision for Illinois. Our skills and experiences complement one another well. Bill has experience in state leadership, and I have experience at the executive level in local government. We both know how to build consensus, and we both know how to demand a higher level of ethics. Like the Brady household, as Bill stated, I come from small business. My husband and I worked together for over 33 years in various family business ventures. Over the past 8 years, as Bill said, I've been the mayor of Long Grove. During that time, we were able to move forward our business expansion plan despite the economic downturn. We were still able to raise the sales tax revenue base and bring new jobs to the area. The progress has been there, but the progress has been slow. The problem is that, like other states and other cities and towns in Illinois, we suffered under along with the recession, we struggle under the excessive regulation that is part of doing business here in Illinois. Today, fear rules in the heart of small businesses, which are the backbone of our state economy. Fear rules in the heart of our teachers and our union workers, who were promised a pension that was unrealistic and never fully funded. I'm here to tell you that change is not only possible, It is inevitable. The people of Illinois are too great, too proud, and too strong to allow the leaders to keep holding us down. We have confidence in ourselves. We do not have to accept the status quo. In Illinois, we have everything we need to become a model state for our nation. We have the infrastructure, the resources, and best of all, we have the Midwestern heart and the work ethic to become once again a magnet state for business and commerce. What we don't have is leadership. It's time to toss aside the so-called leaders who continue to force us to accept this new normal of second best and reclaim what is rightfully ours. It's time to put the people back in charge of Illinois. We need your help to set a new direction in Illinois. So I'm asking you to stand with me as I stand with Bill Brady, and we together can make this a magnet state that will not only attract new business and investment to Illinois, but will be a state that our children and grandchildren will never want to leave. Thank you, and God bless Illinois, and God bless the United States of America. Yes.
Mrs. Rodriguez, Senator Brady, who made his name in Illinois politics as a social conservative, are you with him on the social issues, abortion, gay marriage, all those?
We are aligned in our values. Yes.
Could you articulate those values from your perspective?
I am pro-life, strong pro-life. I am for traditional marriage. I pretty much went through most of Senator Brady's votes and am comfortable pretty much with most of his votes. We align ourselves very, very strongly.
So you find yourself in the challenge of having to swing those suburban female voters that were so difficult to swing 4 years ago?
I don't know that they'll be difficult to swing. I think it's more a matter of having the discussion and talking with them about exactly what the votes are. You know, the votes in the pro-life area, you know, the importance of safety regulations in abortion clinics, those kinds of things. I think anybody would agree with that.
And ma'am, you are no longer mayor?
I ran for 2 terms. I did not seek another term in the last election.
That was 2013?
Yes.
Okay. And what can you talk about your family business? What business were you in?
You know, my husband is an entrepreneur. We have worked together at one point we were area developers for Schlotsky's Delis. So I worked together with him in that. We also have owned an alpaca farm for 16 years. Joke is, this is how alpaca farmers dress in Long Grove. So, you know, owning a family business, it's not like going to work and expecting a paycheck. You know, I mean, it's when you own the business, you feel the pressures.
Question for the senator. What's your take on Bill Daley getting out of the Democratic primary? And do you look forward to perhaps running against Pat Quinn again?
Well, we knew Maria would have a great impact. When we announced yesterday that she was going to be running with us, we didn't realize that Mr. Daley would act so quickly. But, you know, obviously he made the right decision. If his heart wasn't in it, he needed to get out of it. Illinois needs a leader whose heart's in it. I look forward to the rematch against Pat Quinn. I don't think there's anyone who questions that rematch were held today. Given the misgivings of the Quinn administration, we'd end up on top by a great number of votes. So I look forward to talking to people about the same things, Charles, you know, that we talked about last time, and how we told the people of Illinois the truth. Pat Quinn didn't. He's divided the people of Illinois. Maria and I want to bring the people of Illinois together in a consensus that will provide the vision that we need to keep our children here and our grandchildren.
Are you worried that you the Republicans might spend the primary beating each other up while Pat Quinn kind of has a smooth shot? Might that hurt?
Well, no, I'm not worried about that at all. Republican primaries, this one, like the last one, I think, will be a great opportunity for Republicans to learn about the difference between their candidates. In my case, we proved that we could bring the Republican Party together like no candidate has brought the Republican Party together in decades, or a decade at least. And we'll continue to emphasize and build on the strengths that we've achieved in the last elections. So I'm not worried at all about that division. you know, I think Pat Quinn has enough people chastising him from within his own party, as I've dealt with Democrats on trying to bring up meaningful pension reform, to the media, who realize the shortcomings. Bond houses certainly have not been kind to Pat Quinn. The job market hasn't shown positive results. You know, we've lost 200,000 jobs in the last 5.5 years here in Illinois under Pat Quinn. There's plenty of ammunition, I believe, that will show the weaknesses of the Quinn administration and what the vision and the future of a Brady Rodriguez administration could bring to the people of Illinois.
Senator, do you, given that Bill Daley believes one of the Republicans will beat Pat Quinn, it's clear that he's not going to be in Pat Quinn's corner this campaign. Do you consider Bill Daley fair game for a supporter?
Well, I consider every voter in Illinois as fair game as a supporter. You know, we didn't get as many votes as we got last time without opening our doors to Chicago Democrats for the first time in many elections. If you look at the results, being at the top of the ticket, we did better than most past elections. I'd welcome any voter's support in Illinois, and certainly Bill Daley's.
Ma'am, can you talk about the office of Light Gov, please? Do you think it's a job worth having, an office worth having?
Well, as you know, there has been legislation introduced to abolish the office, which the reason for that is that it has been in the past not given much authority and so on. The way I feel about it is I can go either way. I can see abolishing the office if it's part of a greater plan to streamline the budget, but right now you have to have a lieutenant governor to run with. So I can promise you that if I am when I am elected, I will work hard. I think you either have to abolish the office or legitimize the office. And as long as it's in place, we plan to legitimize the office. Yes.
What makes you confident that you have an experience for a statewide office?
I believe that, I worked in local government. I worked as in an executive office. I'll tell you, local government is a microcosm of what you see at the greater at the state level. Only in local government it's personal. You know, people have no problem telling you what they think of things. During my time for 8 years as the mayor, I worked closely with state, federal, and county officials. We did a lot of work regionally, and we got a lot done. So I have some experience behind me. I am very comfortable in this position.
Senator, I know that you addressed this peripherally, but to use a sports analogy, sometimes when you're in the playoffs, it's better for a team to fight it out till the last game rather than sit a week waiting for an opponent. Is Pat Quinn apparently running virtually unopposed a benefit, a plus, or a minus to him, a plus or a minus to you, or whoever wins the Republican race?
Well, first of all, I'm not sure he'll be unopposed. It wouldn't surprise me that someone would step up and run against him. And within his own party, he's not well liked. I think that's pretty well known. But I think we'll deal with the hand that we're dealt. There is a lot to be said for staying tuned up throughout the entire election cycle, and we will stay tuned up and be in a position to take on that challenge of the general election, having gone through the primary, and build on that. So we're going to deal with whichever hand we're dealt, whether Pat Quinn has a primary or not. I don't think there's any question if he doesn't have a primary, it's not because he's been a successful governor.
And
Senator, can you talk about, will this change your strategy at all, whether or not, with Bill Daley out, has this altered the landscape for you?
No, in the next 6 months, our strategy is to make sure that we can earn the support and the vote of every possible Illinois voter in the Republican primary, to differentiate why we think we're the successful ticket in Illinois. And our strategy has always been to show that our ticket will relate better to the people of Illinois. Our strategy will continue to be Democrats over to the Republican primary, independents over to the Republican primary, to build a stronger Republican primary and earn the support of the folks in the Republican primary. One of the things that I really wanted in a lieutenant governor was someone who was not necessarily associated with the Capitol Dome, someone who had a different perspective. I firmly believe, and Maria's shown, that real job growth starts at the small business level, and she's worked to foster that in her community. Just as I believe that the growth of Illinois hinges very much on empowering our municipalities to do more and to use resources that they have to create that job-producing environment. Maria's shown she can do that. And what I love about the diversity of this ticket, not only is it geographically diverse, that she brings with her a wealth of knowledge of the suburbs. I obviously have learned a lot about the suburbs, but come from downstate. But she also brings a wealth of knowledge about the perspective of local government, which is going to be a key factor in our vision for the future of Illinois.
Mayor Rodriguez, can't help but notice your last name. Your husband is Latino. Is that the deal?
My husband is Polish and Cuban, Spanish. He's as light as I am, though, so.
That's all.
Ms. Rodriguez, given your experience with at the local level with property tax and stuff, how can you see helping that role at the state level of helping relieve some of the burden of the property taxes, since some of the counties here have some of the highest property taxes in the country?
Oh, you know, it's going to take a multifaceted approach. I think that as Senator Brady said, what's good about this ticket is that I have experience there, I have connections there, so I'll be an ear for that and a strong force and advocate for it for some relief in the government.
I add one thing to that, and one of the things that impressed me, and correct me if I'm wrong, Maria, but Long Grove is one of the few communities that doesn't benefit from a property tax. So she knows how to run government without a property tax, and particularly knows how that benefits a community.
Can you talk about the experience of being mayor versus getting into state politics now, in that mayor and city council in Illinois are nonpartisan positions, and now you've got to be in a position where you're a Republican, and if the Democrats say something, you've got to be against it?
Well, actually, that's a good question. You know, I think that it's a great benefit that I have been in office in a nonpartisan role, because I believe that in Illinois right now, we really don't have the luxury of partisan politics. We are all under the same pressures. We really all have got to demand a better, higher level of ethics. We've all got to demand common sense, fact-based legislation. And so, you know, we've got to be together at the table speaking. The two-party system is important, and the debate of the two philosophies is where we find good legislation.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.
Thank you.